For the language of the interior is the language of silence and vibration and energy and feeling and realization. And all of the great ones who have entered in, that's what they have entered into, that realization. And they have done that through mastery of the material world. Being able to take the time out of it to grow that awareness of easy listening, recognition, identification, and vibration. And that's what this moment is all about. So I allow myself to enter in. I allow myself simply to be. I allow myself to become faceless, formless, vibrating energy, radiant light energy, wherein there's absolutely nothing to do and simply to pulsate to the being that I am. It's a tender moment in which I say a tender yes to all the essential goodness that I am, always have been, always will be, when I have broken out of the shell of the exterior, mesmerizing, distracting world of form. Out of the shell is where I best love to be, into that new life that it provides me, the new light that it shines upon me and from me, and the new energy in which I can vibrate when the shell does not encase me. So yes, to life, the life that's whole, the life that's pure, the essential life of divine essence in all of its forms, but especially shining through this one when I am awake and alert enough and desirous enough to enter in. Now, this is my deepest desire, to be consciously conscious, awakened, alert to this truth, this essence, this beingness that I am. And it's what I desire for every person and everything in all of creation, because I am part of every person and everything in all of creation. So as it is with the micro, it is with the macro. And as it is with the macro, it is with the micro. And always and forever. In this awareness, I can truly say, to life, to light, to love, to the infinite, always may be the power and the glory and the energetic of truth, shining and expressing through me and all of creation. I send forth this stated awareness of truth, and I know it's already responded to as I say. And so it is.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
And so, my dear ones, here we are in this great good moment right now, where we are allowing ourselves not to be inhibited by the shell of the outer world and all that that poor shell has to endure and be bombarded by from that exterior dimension. And here we are in this beautiful inner sanctuary that is housed within our very selves, pondering in this month of January what is our custom to do globally in our spiritual community, to focus on the basic fundamental principles of truth, the truth that sets us free. And our global theme for this month is timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. And we look at that through the lens of Science of Mind and Spirit, which was a spiritual philosophy culminated by the great Dr. Ernest Holmes, who studied all of the philosophies, all the religions, all the sciences, and saw the spiritual aspect in psychology and so on, and was able to see the golden thread, the golden mean that unified the whole lot of it. That unifying factor in everything, which is why you and me, in spite of our differences beginning with our families, can come to peace within our families. And you can extend that right out to the global community and beyond. We have the capacity, we have the ability. Do we have the desire? That's the question. So today's underwriting topic is infinite intelligence. And it's just another name for what we can't describe, truly, fully understand. We cannot fully understand the truth because our human minds are limited. So how are we expected to fully understand the infinite? All we're asked to do is to be in the evolutionary process of discovering more and more and more and more and more of the truth. Where? Out there somewhere? No, within ourselves. The truth that sets us free. And that truth can only be found within ourselves, and we can only free ourselves from within ourselves. There's no other way of freeing ourselves. There's no person, place, or thing that will do it. It's impossible. I've known people with a lot of freedom who are deeply imprisoned. I know people who are deeply imprisoned and enjoy a lot of freedom. See, it's the irony of life. It's that inexplicable thing that cannot ever be fully understood. Why? Because it's a mystery. It's a mystery. Life is a mystery. And it's an ongoing mystery, and you're never going to get all the clues that brings you to the point when you say, oh, by Jove, I got it. There's always more to get. Why? Because goodness is infinite, and there's more of it, and there's more of it, and there's more of it to experience, to explore, to become one with. And so today is all about that thing called life, the thing itself. And I can remember when I first heard of the divine, the infinite, whatever you want to call that which cannot be named or limited or pinned down in any way to any human definition. The thing itself. And I thought, oh my gosh, how could you call the infinite a thingy? What desecration and blasphemy. But now I understand it a little bit more fully and clearly. I think it's wonderful. The thing, it's the thing. The thing that you can feel and sense and almost grasp, but can never really pin down and put your finger on it. And certainly never fully possess. The thing. It's wonderful. It's awesome. And so are you. Imagine that. In all of your sense and sensibility of yourself as not being this and not being that and not having this and not having that and this not going right and that not going right and so on. You're just amazingly, wonderfully, awfully, beautifully, an awful beauty in a sense. Okay, you're okay. Why are you okay, in spite of all the bumps and bruises and the batteredness you feel, and so on? You're okay because you have the capacity within you to be very much more than that. That's what infinite intelligence is all about. It's in you, it's in me. It is the creative essence and energy and vibration of all that is in all that is in creation. It's the energy of the Christ light, the Buddha mind. Anything you can think of that is totally good. And it's right where you are. It's right in you, exactly as you are, no matter how battered and bruised and bumped you might feel right now. Because a lot of us are feeling battered and bumped and bruised right now. Have you noticed? And many, many, many people in the world who are not presenting that are still battered and bruised and bumped. They may not present it, because there's something in them that knows, I'm not only bumped and battered and bruised, I'm so much more than this, and I can heal. And I can heal, and I'll be darned if I'm going to let anything that is not the thing itself get me down. There may be days when I will go into wallowing. There may be days when I choose to forget. There may be days when I just can't see an inch in front of me. But nevertheless, there is that within me that pulls me back to knowing there's more. It's not just this. There's more. And out of all of this, more is on its way. And out of all of this, great good will come. And because of all of this, this world is ready for renewal. It's ready for rising. It's ready to say yes to the good that's beckoning. Now, that's what I know. That's what I believe, only believe. That's what I'm feeling in this moment now. I will always know it. I will always say yes to it. I may not always feel it. But I say to myself so many times, Moira, it doesn't matter how you think or how you feel or whether you believe or not. The truth is, you are okay. You always will be okay. So buck up, pull yourself together, and know something different so that you can feel something different than what you've been marinating in. Sometimes when we are marinating, it's not great juice we're in. We need to get out of that jar and into another one that's sweeter. So wherever you are in your sojourn right now, whatever's going on in your life right now, just pause for a minute, breathe, and just calm down and just allow yourself to feel whatever it is. If you're feeling awful, be okay with feeling awful. I am feeling awful now. I'm not judging it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not condemning it. I'm just recognizing I'm feeling awful right now. I'm going to let the feeling be expressed safely, and I'm going to let it dissipate itself. Because once you give the yappy dog at your ankle attention, once you give the hollering, screaming child attention, once you recognize what's getting at you, and you stand back from it and you look at it and you just see it for what it is, without judgment, it's amazing. It's like magic. It dissipates itself. Why? You're not feeding it energy. And that which is not fed energy dissipates itself. That's our teaching. That's infinite intelligence at work. That's the creative process in life, flowing through us without being stopped and blocked. Just a flow. Take the river. There's all kinds of junk in a river. But does the river get clogged up? Not unless it's intentional or an act of the climate or something. It carries all that stuff away with it. And if you go to the center of the river, it's very clear and very, very, very unimpeded in its flow. You're a river, and so am I. And the river isn't always that pretty because of what's flowing through it. But it's got to flow. It's got to flow. It's when we stop things and block things that we get really into great difficulty, and it just covers us. And we're paralyzed. We don't know what to do, what to think, what to feel, what to say, what to be. We kind of go into a fetal position, hoping somebody's going to come along and save us. Doesn't happen, because you're the savior to yourself, and that's the teaching. There's no one coming. There's no one coming. Everything is already here. Everything is already here. There's nothing missing. There's no one coming to bring us something. We have it all. We've been given it all. It's available to us all. And you know, all the great ones throughout the ages, all of them, all of the great ones throughout the ages became great throughout the ages because they entered in. They entered in. That's what everybody in metaphysics and in spiritual life and living call becoming available to and one with our source. They enter in. Jesus himself said, if you want to enter in, here's what you have to do. Take your shoes off, leave them outside, go into the inner sanctum. And the metaphor used was the closet, the dark closet. And there you'll be in the company of the one. And the company of the one will sup with you, which means exchange with you, be nurturing of you. And the leaving of the shoes outside is symbolic for stepping out of the exterior world so that you can enter into the interior world, which is the true sanctuary, the true realm of unity, harmony, and oneness. It's not out there until you first discover it in here. And when you discover it in here, you're going to step out into it and find it out there everywhere. You know, we're living in very challenging times, but it's nothing new. Kabir is a beautiful example of this. He was one of those great Indian sages. He was a mystical poet, a singer of songs of delight to his source. He was a man on fire with bringing people together in unity and harmony. He reminds me very much, actually, of a St. Francis of Assisi, because his poems are all love songs to the divine, and so on. And his mantras were very clear. One of his favorite mantras was, Rama, Lord, has possessed me. Hari, the beloved Lord, has enchanted me. The Lord wants a pure heart in me. And he worked and worked and worked and worked without ceasing to bring together unity amongst Muslims and Hindus of his time in the 15th century, which was a very difficult thing to do because at that time people of religions were killing each other and hating each other and destroying each other if they could. But he worked diligently in love with his pure heart, and only with a pure heart can you enter in to bring Muslims and Hindus together to the point that Muslims own him and Hindus own him. He was their man. Those times are no different to today's times. We can bring all fractions of life together. We really can. It just takes enough of us knowing it, believing it, and feeling it, and wanting it. Desperately, beautifully wanting it. Wanting it. Like the novice, which I never get tired of his story, the novice monk looking for a way to be one with the divine, and then his mentor, when he finally reaches the great master, in answer to his question, how do I do this, shoving his head underneath the river water until he can breathe no more. And then just on his last breath, he takes his head up out of the water. He says, tell me right now, what was the one thing you were desiring? He said, to breathe. Ah, he said, yes, to breathe. And when you have that same passionate desire, that desperate, passionate desire for your God and the experience of your God, you're about ready to start on your spiritual path. How many of us have that desperate desire? So many of us have had, believe it or not. I mean, the words that keep coming to me this week were, Father, forgive us, for we know not what we do. And also, against you, you alone have I offended. In your compassion and in your kindness, be merciful to me. These are the prophets of old, their words, felt, deeply felt at times, great times of need. Like the deer that yearns for running water, so my soul is yearning for you, my Lord. The Psalms state. All of the great ones, the mystical, magical, beautiful people who spent their life in sacred service to bringing people together and unifying people at great cost to their own lives, did so because they entered in and they had that deep love. They were deeply in love with this thing called life. And they saw the only way to express it was through loving service. Our wonderful Dr. Anita always said to anybody who came to her for prayer for some difficulty or another, she always said, well, are you volunteering? That's always her question. Are you volunteering enough? What are you giving in response to all of this that you want? What are you bringing to the table? What are you putting in? What are you giving? And she said it all by just that one little question. Are you volunteering enough? You need to volunteer. And when they came to the great Dr. Bitzer, who was one of the, founding fathers almost, along with Ernest Holmes of Science of Mind and Spirit, he'd say, well, okay, you have a problem now. Are you tithing? This one was tithing. Are you tithing? Are you giving to that which spiritually supports you? Are you spiritually supporting that which you want to spiritually support you now? Are you? Because if you're not, the universe will take it one way or another. You'll get parking tickets. This and that and the other will crop up, expenses that you did not expect. But there has to be a covenant between us, the divine, and ourselves. I bring something to the table and I put it on. It's an agreement. Spirit responds accordingly. The measure I give is the measure is returned to me with interest. That's the difference. With interest. The measure I give is the measure returned to me with interest. Instead of us all sitting around complaining about everything and throwing our hands up in the air saying it's all hopeless, etc., we ask ourselves in a quiet moment once we've entered in, but it's not going to happen unless you and I enter in. Get calm, cool, and collected, and enter in. And we're not going to do that if we don't have a desire, a real desire, a true desire to do that. You can't play at this. There's no playing around with spirituality. There's no pretend. There's no faking it until you make it in the spiritual world. So what will we bring to our world today that's going to help heal it and raise it up into a greater experience of itself as it's meant to be? Evolutionary vision is needed right now. What is our picturing? What is our visioning of how this world can be? Not because they're going to do it and those over there will help and this happening will help, but what you're going to do, what I'm going to do. That's the only way it's going to change. For things to change as our teaching, I have to change. No one else, nothing else. For things to change, I have to change. This is infinite intelligence informing me all the time. Kiddo, it's up to you. If it's going to be, it's up to me. The same spiritual cliches that we hear in this spirituality all the time. It's going to be, it's up to me. And what have we chosen this particular year to focus on? I am the infinite, individualized expression of the one. I am its image, I am its likeness, I am endowed by its essence and its spirit. Therefore I can. That's what we've claimed for this year. So let us all gather in the crumbs of the loaf of our daily bread and know there's more than enough to share from that. And let us know we'll always be fed once we put something on the table and give back. That's how it happens. It's as simple as that. That's the teaching. That's love in action. That's infinite intelligence expressing itself through you and through me. So in conclusion, my dear ones, remember, you are that point of power through which any kind of great good can happen. And the infinite has chosen to express itself in all of its magnificence if you open up the portal and let it flow. And I know that's where our minds and hearts are right now. So, always and ever, by means of you, me, and all of creation, to God and good and love be the glory. Take care of yourselves by spiritually staying awake. And so, now we are going to have a lovely sharing from Reverend Catherine.
At this point in our service, we usually share messages from our members and friends about how they feel that we are supporting them, and this is one. It is a confusing time to be an American. No matter what I believe, there are many people who believe the opposite. In this center, we believe we are all one. Some of us out there don't believe that, but I have to steadfastly know that there is one power, and I know I'm not confused about that. Thank you for continuing to help me remember that even when I see angry faces and hear angry voices, that there is one power and we are all one.
Well, that's a lovely message for today, indeed, and for our times. Yes, indeed. Do you remember the story, those of us who are familiar with the Christian stories and the Christian scriptures and so on, of the lost sheep? Jesus tells the story of the lost sheep. Does he not leave all of the sheep to go in search of the one that's lost? And usually we call the lost one the black sheep, which for me I never understood. But anyway, the focus of love is on that which needs healing and that which needs a whole lot of compassion and love in order to heal. So yes, until you and I can stop the fight within us when we're looking at these things happening, stop the condemnation of it, stop the judgment of it, and just say, Father, forgive us, for we know not what we do. May all of us be one. May all of us be one, because that was ever and only the request of all the great ones, that we may be one. One in mind and one in heart, and one in life and one in love, and one in amazing grace that helps each other to be better than we are on our own. Together, we're so much better than when we are on our own. So let's remember that. And now we are going to go to our wonderful little moment of celebration of our own good, wherein we take our gift and we bless it. And this represents our daily bread being shared. No matter how big the loaf is, we can share from it. So let's take our wonderful gift between our blessing hands and say, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice at the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. And so indeed it is, my dear ones. So please do take care of yourself first and foremostly. You have to, because you want to come from your fullness to give the best of yourself, to be the most of yourself, and to do all that you can do in the world today to help soothe and heal it all and bring it all together. Take care of yourself. And just, if you can, make somebody's life a little bit smilier every day. Put a little warm touch into somebody's life every day in some way. And you will know how to do that. It will come to you if you want to do it. A way will be made for you to do it, I promise you. And it'll make you feel good. It'll actually brighten and lighten your whole day knowing that you put a smile on somebody's face today. It really, really will. Might be a telephone call, who knows? Might be just a nod at a neighbor, whatever. But please follow the protocols. Let us get our world healthy and well together again. Please, let us be healthy together again.